was like really kind of punk rockish, man. Like I really dug that tune. Like really enjoyed it. Like good vocals. Like yeah, that song was really cool.
It's full of energy, and that's what I'm into, I guess, at the moment. It's we've had our sluggish period over Christmas, and we've drunk lots and eaten lots, and now it's the new year, and we're like, let's get out and pogo, and that's what this is all about.
Yes, indeed. Matter of fact, that's exactly what I was thinking. For some reason, the term pogo did come to mind. Yeah, I was really into it because it did have a really cool post-punk feel to it, and I hate to say it, but the bass line in it was really it was really ground out in there. It was awesome. It really had a lot of good elements, but there were a lot of classic elements, and that's what I really dug about it. It was one of those songs where if you had a full album of that, you would be solid, and it would be something that you probably had to listen to daily, usually when you would get up in the morning.
Right on.
Me, anyway.
So next up is a band called Lord Numb, and this is The Ghost of Divers. Dig this. Okay, so that was Lord Numb with Ghost of Divers. Now, a while ago when I interviewed Lord Numb, he explained to me that that was about a trip that he and Mrs. Numb took to Egypt. And there was a certain, I think it was canal or something like that, where a lot of people had done diving and had passed away in there for whatever reason it was, like high tide or whatever it had been. So that's what the song was written about.
Wow, that's wow.
Pretty cool, eh?
Cool. I mean, cool is the wrong word because that's quite grim, but it's a cool little story.
You know what I mean? Like,
I would say that she should really be called Lady Numb. I think that's
Lady
that's
Numb. There you go.
Title.
Good call, my friend. Good call.
I love Lord Numb. I discovered Lord Numb through listening to this show before I reached the dizzy heights of co-presenter, and I've always thought he was brilliant ever since. So. Really, really good tune. Another song with fantastic attitude, and my suggestion for the theme is it has to have something about attitude. If we go down the route of a theme,
right,
which was never the plan for these things, but Baseline Birthday was such a hit.
That it was.
But yeah, it's got real balls. It's got real attitude. Again, it's really. It's in your face, and it's kind of trippy, but it's intense, and it's kind of soft but hard at the same time. And I just, really, really banging. Really, really like Lord Numb. I think he's really exciting. So very cool.
Yeah, we've played his tracks before, and I think I've always used the term, maybe I didn't, I don't know, but I would use the term unique for him because the structure is very nice. The electronic elements are really cool. There's a lot of really great stuff about it, and you're right. There's so much stuff to pay attention to. It's interesting that the song would be about that. I don't think anybody would really expect that, but nonetheless, it is still a cool tune, and all of his stuff is really good. Everything that I've heard, I can't say anything bad about it. It's definitely something to tune into and listen to, and I love. There's just a lot of different stuff going on in there. One thing that I did pick up on that I'm kind of, I would call a guilty pleasure is there was a lot of mod on that synth where he was using the bend wheel and stuff like that. And I've been kind of known to do that every now and again, and I must say that is definitely a guilty pleasure, and I thought it was cool and it was tasteful in this track too.
Right on. So next up, we have a band called Scout Killers. This one's called Shock and Awe. Dig this. Right on. Scout Killers with shock and awe. And indeed that was. And like Mike was mentioning off air, there is your attitude. Wow, that was powerful and strong, and they just effing killed it. Great tune.
Absolutely fantastic. For me, it's really I love the way these things work out because it's never really planned. You know, we've talked a lot about the '90s and we've talked a lot about punk, and for me, both of there's a decade in between that no one talks about. But again, there's there's a lot of stuff in the '80s, but we don't talk about that. But the thing that ties the two together is attitude, and for me, I don't think a lot of people will say this, but maybe they will. For me, the first thing I heard when that opened up was Oasis. It had that real Morning Glory, Definitely Maybe, Be Here Now feel. Those first three Oasis albums, just in the guitar and the way it was laid out, and then the vocal comes on top, and it was more like kind of bands like Reef and stuff like that, and some of the grungy bands again. It's a bit of Alice in Chains and stuff. And what I really wasn't expecting. I heard this for the first time earlier on today. I really wasn't expecting the ending. I really wasn't expecting that kind of big growl and that scream, and I was like, oh, cool. But regardless, the whole thing is attitude, and for me personally, hashtag the attitude is the theme as far as but whatever it is, I really, really like that tune. I thought that was really, really cool. That's the kind of thing I would go out and buy without blinking an eyelid. I'd listen to that and go, yeah, I love that. Because you want to hear that when you're in the car, you want to hear that when you walk into work, you want to hear that wherever you are. That's just, it's another good wake-up tune as well.
Right.
Yeah, really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think that was definitely a sleeper tune, and when I say sleeper tune, I mean that you are not expecting to have what you hear 3 minutes down the road come out of the same speakers, because it was just shock and awe. And I was totally into it because I did hear a lot of good rock elements as it was going along, and it seemed to get more and more intense. And then finally, at the very, very end, we had almost something that to me was reminiscent of a band called Stone Sour, which has Corey Taylor from Slipknot.
Oh, awesome! Love Corey Taylor.
If you've ever heard of those guys, and then you look at Corey Taylor, you're like, how is that the same guy? That's like impossible. Like, you can't get your head wrapped around that. But that's kind of what happened with this, and I thought that was super cool because that reminded me of that. I was like, all right, these are great vocals, great vocal line, great really everything. It's moving along really good, has a lot of power to it, and then all of a sudden it gets cranked up to 11, and you're like, whoa. And then the voice that comes out of this guy is like another side of somebody else. So you're like, whoa, this is fantastic. It's almost like you got two awesome bands for the price of one in that song, which was really cool. I was into that.
Right on. And just before I move on with Corey Taylor, this was an interview a long time ago, but it was funny because they were obviously they're talking about music, and they said, well, I know you've done Stone Sour, and do you want to do any more collaborations? It says, you know what? It goes, if I could do a collaboration with Ray LaMontagne, I would die a happy man. And Ray LaMontagne is a contemporary, kind of easy listening, kind of store stuff. But that's something I listen to. But apparently that would make him happy if he did a collaboration with him. So, so next up we're going to a band called Dolly Spartans, and this one's called "Hear the Dead." Dig this.